I'm Chris Farnum. Thank you for coming. I'm a lead UXD at ProQuest, and I'm going to talk about infographics for the non-designer because I am not a visual designer. And I'm also probably not an expert in infographics, but I'm a learner about infographics. I want to share them with you. So what about them? I think they're important because they communicate information. They can be used to talk about your site analytics. They can lend more discussion about your personas. And when you think of the word infographic, you might be thinking of something like this. These really rich diagrams that are well crafted. They have points that they're trying to make to you. They're very subject oriented, but they also might include things that go into user interfaces. So they might be things that you are called upon to design, like I had to design infographics into this page about members of Congress and show the progress of bills that they introduced. Infographics have been around for a long time. They're not a new thing. Edward Tufte has been an evangelist about info visualization for a long time, and he has all kinds of great case studies about infographics through history and talking about what's successful and what's not. So I recently came across this diagram by Donna Wong that sort of gives a whole continuum of different kinds of information visualization from low fidelity to high fidelity. The stuff we saw first is probably in the top right corner, but this is meant to show you that there's all kinds of expressions of ways to marry data and visuals. So what are the essential characteristics? What is it? Visual storytelling about data is the main thing, but they're usually very visual and crisp and easy to understand. They provide highlights and overviews. They're usually multidimensional and also very layered as well. So getting started about knowing how to do infographics, learn the basics, and these are some great sources. Tufte, of course, Donna Wong has a great guide to information graphics, and Tableau has a guide that you can download as well for free. What you're trying to do is learn charting and graphing 101 and learn, when to use a bar chart, when to use a pie chart, which is actually not very often. Line charts, you need to know how to figure out what measures to use. Getting started, one of the things you can try to do is rework an existing one. This is the Information Architecture Salary Guide. This is from the appendix where they show historically what the trend has been. But I wanted to try to simplify this a little bit and hone on something that's maybe a little more actionable, like are salaries really rising? So I turned it into a column bar chart and added a trend line to reassure us, yes, it really is, despite the year-to-year variation. This, I think, paints a clearer picture. So starting points for getting started of the process of creating an infographic, it really starts with a question and a hypothesis. A hypothesis that you might want to either prove or disprove. It doesn't have to be a great one, like the home page is the most important entry point is a starting point. Decide the best sources. Are you pulling this from survey data, from site traffic analysis, places like Google Analytics and Web Trends and so on? When you extract this stuff, it's going to look a little messy to start with. It's going to be raw numbers and columns and charts. A few charts you can make in those things, in those tools, but you're going to want to start to play with this yourself and create your own charts and do whiteboarding and sketching and figure out how this all works as you're trying to prove or disprove this hypothesis. And you know that when you get to bullet points that you have something actionable. You need to distill the information, think about your target audience for this infographic, because that's very important. We do that as user experience designers all the time, and distill it to points that they can understand that are going to be actionable. When you start to put something together as an infographic, you probably want to make sure that there's some kind of diagram that draws things together. You can't just have numbers up there and charts. You have to figure out how they relate to each other. Start with the diagram and then add layers to it and make sure there's a headline. So other parting words about how to get started with infographics: dive in, get the keys to the car, get logins and passwords, and use the tools yourself to extract data. Don't depend on someone else to give it to you. That's helpful, but not a good starting point. So start small, choose simple visualizations to start with, and then expand from there. Again, I'm not a visual designer, so you tailor it to your abilities. Flat is my friend, I find. It's very forgiving. If you're feeling overwhelmed, remember, whoa there, cowboy. You don't have to do it all by yourself. There are lots of people in the digital analytics community that are right here in this town that can help you get started. Take them to lunch and get to know them. And finally, thank you. I'm happy to kick off at night. Thank you for listening. Contact me if you have questions.